So despite a federal judge's order, the Trump administration is refusing to release the RIF plans. There are 40 RIF plans across 17 federal agencies, and they don't want to be transparent. They do not want to show the plans. If you do not show the plans, there's no argument whether it is legal or not. So the unions want to see the plans so they can see, did you do it the right way? Were you considering tenure? Were you considering performance or veteran status? Now, the Trump administration is saying it's privileged information. And this is because if it is revealed in the draft stage, then it could impact their workforce strategy. So make that make sense, right? So they don't want to reveal it. Now, here's the issue. They've already enacted some of these RIFs. We've seen it when it comes to the Education Department, the State Department, the Health and Human Services Agency, right? These agencies, they've already sent out the RIF notice, and in some situations, these employees are already gone. So why are we being so secretive with the plans? Usually RIF plans can be made public. I think if it is made public, it would be better for everyone. If the Trump administration is doing the right thing, it's better for them. It's better for the federal workers. It's better for the public to have trust in their government that they're doing things the right way. They're following the laws. They're not trying anything sneaky. The administration is saying that these are still in the preliminary stage. They didn't just start working on these RIF plans. It's been about 5 months now. In the last 5 months, they've been working on these plans. And like we talked about, some of them have already been enacted. So it's really hard to buy into this idea that they're in the draft stage or preliminary and things could still change. Yeah, I believe Trump said that recently, that they're reevaluating whether people have to be let go. If you look at the VA, that's kind of a clear example. You have a large federal agency that decided that they don't have to do a reduction in force because so many people were looking for the exit door and they accepted the incentives. They accepted the buyouts, the deferred resignation program, the early retirement. They were willing to accept it. And VA, they had a goal initially of 82,000 people they were trying to get rid of in their agency. And now it's like 30,000. That's what they are on track to lose 30,000, I believe, at the end of September. So the secretary is saying that's good. Will other agencies follow suit? Probably not, because from what we're seeing, a lot of them are going to be using this opportunity to signal to the Trump administration that they're on the same page. So while the administration is pushing for a dismissal, we have the unions are pushing for discovery. They want those plans. And eventually, those plans are going to come out and we're going to see exactly what's in them. Now, another topic that we're hearing about today is the VA targets disabled workers. This is a mind blower. Why would this be happening? We know the VA, the Veteran Affairs, it attracts veterans. It attracts disabled veterans. By some estimations, 1 out of every 4 employees at the VA, they're disabled in some capacity. Well, now they're ordering the review. Anybody who's been on reasonable accommodations due to a disability, they're going to review it. This is primarily being used in order to unlock telework benefits. So we all know that this administration, Trump, has issued a return to office mandate. Most federal employees right now are back inside of a federal building. One way to get around that is by saying you have disclosing a disability, using reasonable accommodations. Now it's backed up. That whole process is broken right now. It's overwhelmed right now. It's hard to get something through there. It's hard to hear back from human resources for just about anything, not just reasonable accommodation. But they want to review anyone who's using telework connected to a reasonable accommodation for 8 weeks or longer, they're under review. This is from the beginning of January, from the beginning of the year, so January 2025 until now. So they're going to look at it with much more scrutiny. Now, here's the deal. When you apply for reasonable accommodations, when you're trying to unlock that at your agency, you typically provide medical documentation. But that's only if your disability is not obvious. If your disability is obvious, there's no legal requirement to provide medical documentation. What is obvious? If you're in a wheelchair, if you're deaf, if you're blind, if you're an amputee, if you're missing a limb, all of that is obvious. So the VA legally should not be allowed to demand medical documentation from these individuals, but I'm sure it would not be a problem for them to go to their doctor and to get something in order to prove that they are in fact disabled. Now, the union is saying this is a gross waste of time, because what does it require to do a review and to adjudicate all of these cases? It takes work hours by the hundreds. Someone needs to look at it and have the judgment to say yay or nay for each one of these cases. Also, consider this: over 100,000 VA employees are disabled. This is a direct threat to military veterans that are under disability. A lot of them are PTSD. A lot of them are for depression, anxiety. Now, this is different than Schedule A hiring, because if you're trying to get hired into the federal government using the disability pathway, then you do not need to include support and documentation. You just need your Schedule A letter signed by a medical provider or a rehabilitative counselor. They sign that off, you upload it into usajobs.gov, and you're eligible to start applying for Schedule A jobs. You never have to disclose your disability. To have an idea for that pathway, you look at SF 256, I believe. Pull that up. You'll see a huge list of disabilities that could make you eligible for Schedule A. This is different. This is not getting hired into an agency. This is saying, like, if you're blind, then you need special handbooks within your agency. You need that Braille so that you can actually read, right? So this is required by law. This isn't a nice to have. This is a legal requirement. So we're going to have to wait and see how all of that plays out. But in addition to this, we had an OIG report come out that directly targeted telework in one agency. It was HHS, the Health and Human Services. But this is going to be used into the future as we're shaping how telework and remote work will be allowed or not allowed for federal workers. So it's a pretty big deal. I disagree with most of the report, but if you want to know more about that, I want you to check this video out next. Stay updated by signing up to the free newsletter down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.